Hi everybody. So this week on Once a Mallard, Always a Mallard, we have Irish League, somewhat of a legend here. He's played for, I don't know, probably nearly every club around the league. Shane McCabe. How you doing, Shane?
I'm doing very well. Thanks very much for inviting me down.
No.
I'd say a lot of one say that have more clubs than Tiger Woods, isn't that right?
Aye.
Not fair that. I'll probably have one or two more.
Shane, before we ask you the first question, do you want to give us a wee introduction to who you are for maybe the younger viewers that maybe wouldn't be as familiar with football in the last sort of 10 to 15 years?
You're lucky there. I thought you were going to go 20 to 30. I'm not that grey, am I? That's 3 kids, William. Well, listen, she and I would have played a lot for Irish League football, maybe for the guts of 15 years on and off, and bits and pieces like that. Would have played the other game as well, Gaelic, so Gaelic would have been a big part of me growing up, and it would have assisted me a lot in my success in soccer. So I originally played for Enniskillen Town and then came out to play for Harry in maybe 2000, 2001, 19 or 20 year old,
yeah.
And then we done very well for a year or two. We won the B division, which was an unbelievable experience, and the memories that year will always be cherished. And listen, I think 2 plonkers missed 2 penalties in an intermediate cup final, myself being one, and God rest him, Gary Bonus being the other. But anyway, I was lucky enough to get an opportunity to go and play in the Irish League, and I would have played with maybe 5 or 6 teams in the Irish League and done reasonably well. You know, I've probably done well at the average Joe. I would have went and got the ball and maybe give it to the players that were more technical ability than me. But it's done reasonably well, played for a lot of good clubs, had a good career in the Irish League, and I loved every minute of it. So that's me, and maybe mixed a wee bit of Gaelic in there too, William. Played a bit of Gaelic for Fermanagh and Balcoon, and loved every part of that as well.
Yep. Okay, so Shane, this is the one that everybody that's been about, as you've alluded to, you were a bit of a journeyman around the Irish League. Can you give me your 1 to 11, please?
Now this is going to be a tough one, William. So 1 to 11, I'm probably going to go with. I'll probably go 4-4-2. Okay, so
yeah.
As you said, I played in a lot of clubs, and with a lot of fantastic players, and played against a lot of tough players. So number 1 would have been a couple of players in there in the goals. You know, even the likes of Shane Wilson when I first came here, when he settled and when he turned up, when he wasn't out drinking about Cavan. But he no longer played as straight as much as we would like. So I'd have to probably go with Elliot Morris. Elliot Morris, number 1 at Glentoran. I won the league with him, the League Cup with him, and had 3.5 great years with Elliot. He came back from West Brom and one of the finest keepers in the Irish League. I think he's got a record, maybe appearance as a goalkeeper in the Irish League. So I'll go Elliot as my keeper.
Yep.
Going right back now, so it's be a tough one with right back. You put Sean Ward, who would have played a lot at Glentoran. You had Reece Marshall as a young player at Glenavon, but the player I would go for right back is Mark McConkey. Mark McConkey was a player that played with myself at Dungannon and at Mallard. Some of the experiences me and Mark had were unbelievable. We travelled together, but we'll keep them off the camera just for some of them stories. But Mark was a fantastic player, natural ability, could play right back, could play number 6, could play midfield, so he's in there right back.
Yep.
Centre back now. Would have played with a couple of great centre backs along the way. Gary Fitzpatrick at Dungannon, big Johnny Montgomery. You've gone on into Glentoran then and Portadown. Even Winky Murphy at Glenavon. You know, when we won the Irish Cup, Winky Murphy came from a stark background compared to me, but the two of us just put the football first and we got on like a house on fire, which is great to see. But I'd probably have to go with Paul Lehman in there, centre back, just for the way he made me so welcome at Glentoran, and you know, his record probably speaks for itself in there. One of the best players defensively in the Irish League for a long period. So we'll go with Paul Lehman, Leaper, in there. And the other centre back, William, there'd be a couple, so I'm probably thinking of a left-sided centre back alongside Lehman, and a wee bit of pace maybe required as well, because Leaper wasn't ever that quick. So I was thinking about a young lad that would have played a wee bit in there. James Singleton was a fantastic player. You had Gary Fitzpatrick again at Glenavon. But I'd probably go with Keith O'Hara slotting in there beside Paul Lehman. Play with Keith at Portadown. Fantastic player, could play in a back three, a back four, or left back. But I'm going to slide him into left centre back.
Yep.
The reason for that is my left back. We had again another array of choices there with you had James Singleton in at left back. But the left back for me, JC Hill, another great one at Glentoran, but I'm going to have to go for Kyle Neal. So I played with Kyle Neal at Glentoran and at Glenavon, so we've some cherished memories again with Kyle and a great lad. So that's me back four,
yep.
Isn't it? And my keeper.
Yep.
So we're getting on rightly. So I'm going to go with, did I say 4-4-2, mate?
You did.
Do you have to go home with that? We'll keep going. So we're going to go 4-4-2. On the left side would have been a couple of great players. David Scullion would be one that would straight away shout out to me as a great player, David Scullion at Dungannon. Also played with Niall McGinn for a period at Dungannon, right and left side. But I would probably look to my left-sided midfielder. Again, it's a difficult one and I don't like being, too troublesome. But I might come back to me Mallard days, and I think Keysy would have played it on the left side for us at a period, and Nigel Keys was a player that would have been one that I admired because he made us feel very welcome at Mallard, and he was a wee workhorse, so he'd probably slot in there on the left side for me, left wing whenever he didn't have the wee belly he has now. So he was a lot fitter at that stage. So he was a great player, Keysy, and one of them people again that back in the day, it was maybe 25 years ago, and religion was maybe more than what it is now, but we just seemed to gel together. Yep. And Keysy was a great player in there, he'd do anything for you. So centre mid, I'm not putting myself in there because I said to you at the start, I was an old workhorse. So midfielders, I played with Rodney McAree, fantastic player. I'd have got the ball, give it to Rodney, he'd have distributed it. I played with Dean Fitzgerald, Darrell Fordyce, Neil McCafferty, Colin Monaghan at Mallard, a great team. But I'm going to put wee McCaffs in there, wee Neil McCafferty, played with him at Portadown for a while. A great player, so he's going to be one of my centre mids. And I'm going to go with Dean Fitzgerald because he'll only be on to being given out if I didn't put him in if he watches this. But Dean was a great player, box-to-box player, got goals. Another one to mention in there was Clarkey at Glentoran, and then I played with Kieran Martin, who was down here for a while at Glenavon, was another fantastic player. We complemented each other well. I was more defensive and he would bomb on and get goals. So I've got my two midfielders who I've got there. I've got Neil McCafferty and Dean Fitzgerald and Keysy on the left. So on the right side I would have played with a lot of wingers. Keith Gillespie coming to the end of his career, but he was just finishing off for a big name. Keith Gillespie was in there, but I'm probably going to go with the right side of midfield, David Scullion. David Scullion was a brilliant player. Played with him at Dungannon when we were punching well above our weight, we went in runs, finishing third, lost the Irish Cup final in a penalty shootout. And then I would have played a small bit with Davey at Glentoran before he went to Derry City. So Scully go in there for me. Now the top two is quite interesting because they're big egos, aren't they, up there?
Yeah.
Anyway, you think of it, they want to be the captain, they want to take the penalties, they want to take the free kicks. But listen, that's what you pay to come in and watch and pay. So strikers wise, big Shane O'Brien was some player for us when we won the league down here. Scored a great goal out here. Whenever you meet him, he keeps telling you about it as well.
Oh, we already have that, don't worry.
But Big O'Brien was a great player. And then we had Michael Ward and Timmy Adamson at Dungannon. But the first man in there, probably be no stranger, he was a fantastic player, was Gary Hamilton. So Gary go in at number 10 with his pair of gloves on, even if the sun's shining. He play the stand side so he can maybe look into the crowd and be very dramatic, but what a player, all the ability in the world. I think his Northern Ireland appearances back that up. So the next player for me is a toss-up between Matthew Tipton and Kevin Braniff. Two fantastic strikers, two different players but brilliant for getting goals, and I played with both of them at Portadown. I think I'm going to go with Braniff because he can probably take the criticism and being dropped a bit more than Kevin. Kevin was a wee bit emotional when things weren't going his way, but again, what a player. You know, what a player. I would sacrifice myself just to get the ball to Kevin. So that's my 1 to 11. I've probably missed a few, William, but that's me picking them just on going through a lot of experiences together, winning games, losing games, how we responded, and then the characters and what we would achieve together. So that's that, William.
Thanks for that, Shane. There was a varied range there from all clubs. I don't think there was one club there that didn't get a mention, so definitely the hits should be up on this one anyway. Right, so Shane, as we've established, you've won a lot in the game, but out of all your time in the game, what would be your proudest moments?
Listen, there would be a lot of proud moments when you look back at it and take a wee time. You don't really value it at the time, you know. So I think winning the League 2 with Mallard and that year was absolutely unbelievable. The stories and the connections and the friendships you had from that. Listen, from a young Catholic Gaelic man coming down, I can still go into Clabby, or I can still go into 5 Mile Town and have a pint with the boys. It's brilliant, you know. At that time, it was probably unheard of. We just gelled together. I think that was the bus journey. So that was unbelievable, those memories. But probably the proudest moment was maybe making Team of the Year. I didn't really enjoy it at the time as much, you know, or value it. But Glentoran was probably the pinnacle of my career. Probably played my best football up there. We won the league. You know, you're Team of the Year. You got Player of the Year. It was a great achievement, you know, for me personally, just to go up there, because I was maybe in two minds whether I could mix it at that level. So probably winning the league at Glentoran, and then a real proud moment was again winning the Irish Cup with Glenavon, and then bringing my wee son onto the pitch, Charlie, at that time, you know. So Charlie's down here now and he's not so wee anymore, William. He's about the height of me. That's not too hard. But I'd say some fantastic, I'd say the most cherished memories would be the relationships, the friendships and the stories you would have. But listen, you always like to look back and bits and pieces you've won, you know.
I'm sure there's quite a few there too that wouldn't be forever on camera at this stage. But
definitely not.
The least said about that, the better, maybe.
Yeah.
Shane, could you give us your best goal you've scored?
There'll be a lot of people saying I didn't score goals. You know, I wasn't a great goal scorer. I was a scorer of great goals. So there'll be a couple of goals that I would have scored, but I think Mallard would probably be the best too. I scored a good one with Glentoran, ironically enough. It was in Sky Sports. The boys still slag me about talking about it. For everyone that came into the house, I had it recorded on Sky Sports and had to watch it. But Mallard, it would be way back in 2000, 2001. Bit of a story behind it. If you know me, you can tell the stories, but Harry McConkley probably vouch for this. I turned 21 that weekend, so it was around Christmas, and I went out the Friday night just for one or two, and the one or two turned into
3 or 4.
A couple too many, I would say that. And next thing, Daddy's banging the door to get up to the match because Harry was on the phone. I had slept in, but then I turned up, got onto the bus, wasn't in the best form. We went up to Wilger Park against Dundela in East Belfast, a hard place to go with a young team, and we beat them 3-1. And I remember I scored the goal. I think I played a quick free kick, whatever I was doing, got a back off Bob, went in a wee mazy run from maybe midfield, around 3 or 4 players, and then just slid it into the bottom corner. You know, we won 3-1.
Wee Madonna moment.
One of them, you know, I think it might have been the knock-on effect from the night before, but we got back on the bus then. It was a great win, and one of them things was Harry would have stopped and anyone that was maybe over 18 or their 80s to have a beer. He'd give them a bottle of beer, but he'd give me a bottle of beer on the bus on the way home, and I couldn't drink it. And just goes to show you that maybe 1 or 2 turned into 5 or 6. But that was a great goal. And then another goal that Charlie and Alfie and the 2 eldest boys always bring up as the one against Warren Point here. And it's a good one. So, and Jay McCartney, I think he's here behind us in the walls, and Whitey wouldn't have been a big fan of me taking free kicks. It was a big match against Warren Point, and I says, Jay, roll that, roll that. And he goes, what do you mean, roll it? And I says, well, you just roll it. So he rolled it, and I thought that it could have went anywhere, but it went in off the post and around about like a lunatic, didn't it?
Well, we probably could find the YouTube footage of it on Mallard TV to put it in there if we wanted. The celebration I'm talking about now. Now, Shane, this should be a good one given the character you are, and this is kind of why I'm asking you this. Your most embarrassing moment, please.
we'll have to make it football related then, because there's a lot of other ones embarrassing. But I'd say most embarrassing moments would probably be one particular matchup against Coleraine, and Adam McDonald, who was the manager at Glentoran at that time, he had said, you know, Shane, keep your temper, don't be getting caught up with Tommy McCallion. Inside 2 minutes, Shane's booked. Inside 15, he's taken off because he's about to get sent off. So that was probably one of the most embarrassing moments. Another one would have been up in Cliftonville, coming towards the end of me tenure. So Shane might have just been as physically primed as he is now. But I was carrying a wee bit of weight, and I could hear this roar from Solitude, which I always love to go, and it was, McCabe! And he's going, what's this picture? McCabe! You put them shorts on with a boomerang? And I goes, oh, they actually get me off. So that was probably embarrassing too, because the whole stadium went quiet, and then the Belfast Cliftonville man asking me to put my shorts on with a boomerang. So listen, there was plenty of embarrassing moments, but them two probably stood out.
Very good. Shane, thanks for coming on. I know I've been looking forward to this one and it hasn't disappointed. Do you want to tell viewers kind of what you're at now, or what the family's at football-wise, or is there going to be another Shane McCabe running about out in fairly soon enough?
Hopefully there's not. Like Marmite, you love me or hate me, but you have to get on with it. So I was actually involved in a lot of coaching. Once I quit the football, I got involved with Fermanagh coaching, then I was involved with my own Belcree club, and went and done my C licence there with the AFA, so I'm just finalising that and maybe take the next step up to the B licence, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. And to be running the roads, bringing Charlie, who's playing for the 2010s at Mallard, with Blackie and Endacoy, two great managers there and two good coaches that put a lot of time in it. So Charlie's playing for the 2010s, and then Alfie is playing for the 2013s. I hope I got them years right, or I'll be out the door. And he is managed by Paul Benson, Simon Livingston, and I can't think of the third manager, but he's got a wee son playing as well, Tyler. So I've been doing a lot of that, running about, loving it. I admire the coaches because I've been there myself, and they're giving up their time free. It's a great setup. There's new floodlights going out in Mallard, which is great to see, and the numbers are there. But I think it's just a realisation from what I see with parents is, just not to put too much pressure on their kids. The coaches are trying their best. They're not going to get all the decisions right. And I think even maybe a message for some parents is common sense, as they say, isn't it? It's not that common. So they just maybe need to realise that it's only a game at times. It can be quite competitive, but the coaches are doing the best they can. The kids are doing the best they can. It's great to get them out. But that's good coming from me, isn't it? A bit of a lunatic on the pitch, telling people to be calm. But now we're looking forward to the Foyle Cup now, and I think it's a week on Monday it starts, so we're going to go up and maybe stay a night and up and down and support the boys. And then obviously you've got the Fermanagh Cup team that's going the following week, so we wish them the best too. I think there's a lot of Mallard players involved.
There's quite a few in both.
Brilliant to see.
Tyrone and Fermanagh. So, as you said there, Shane, it's great to get the Cubs out. It probably takes you back a bit to your own youth doing all this running about now. It's like winding the clock round.
I love it, and then I remember once or twice, parents would have been brought up to social services. I used to play for Dungannon Swifts. On the Saturday, Daddy would have collected me after the match, and I'd got changed into my Gaelic kit and played a Gaelic match that night, and then you're going from playing a soccer match being called such and such to going to play a Gaelic match and be called something else. But I loved every minute of it, and I probably deserved that wee bit of slagging because I could give it out myself. But no, it's just the message that the kids need to look after themselves. Don't try and please anyone else. Try and enjoy the football as best they can, and if they've got the talent, it'll come out.
Perfect, Shane. Thanks
very much. Oh, thanks for having me.
Thanks,
appreciate that.
For agreeing.
No problem.